Hey guys, so today we're going to do a quick little video review, and I thought I would do one of my favorite old school transforming robots here, and of course we're looking at Super GoBot Spacey, which I forgot to separate his tail fin here. There we go. Which I always thought was cool. Now, if you watch my channel for any length of time, you know I actually do like the GoBots. I thought they were pretty cool for the time. Actually, I still think they're pretty cool toys. So Spacey here in robot mode really kind of gives you an astronaut aesthetic. You can see the helmet's very astronaut-like. He's got a nice jet backpack there for maneuvering in space. And articulation-wise here, you can see he's got some basic arm articulation, which is pretty standard for the time. Not really much you can do with the legs. You can kind of spread them a little bit here due to the transformation joint, but that's about it. Still, he looks pretty cool, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little comparison with his direct competitor here. So here's G1 Astrotrain. And I know a lot of people give GoBots grief for their, cheaper nature, I guess, if you want to call it that, and their limited transformations and that sort of thing. But now, I mean, Astrotrain here is a triple changer, so he gives up a lot for the triple changing gimmick, more than he probably should have. He should have just turned into a shuttle and just skipped the train, but that's just my opinion. But, I mean, Spacey does have a few things working for him here. His arms actually go past his chest, which you can see with Astrotrain he has issues with. Honestly, in this mode, they really have the same amount of articulation. The arms can move out and they can move around, although if you leave this chest shield thing out, Astrotrain really has even less articulation. So as a kid, I always play with Astrotrain like that because, let's be serious here, he needs to reach in front of himself because he can't even shoot around that thing, that chest shield. So that's how I always play with them as a kid. I don't know if you prefer the shield out or if you put it up like that so you could play. You have to let me know in the comments. But Spacey, now I have to admit, Super GoBot Spacey I never had as a kid. This is something I picked up later on just because like I said, I've got a pretty cool appreciation for GoBots. But as you can see, they're about the same size. Spacey is a lot bulkier, which is can be a good and a bad thing. I mean, I think in his case, he's going for that hardened, or at least in my mind, he's going for that hardened, Deep Space Explorer kind of solitary exploration type. So he's got bigger, bulkier because he's got to survive the harsh environment. Kind of like Cosmos, was pretty much a barrel with legs. So for Super GoBot Spacey, though, here, to get into the transformation, he's pretty simple. Like most GoBots here, you're going to fold up the legs, or the feet. And then what I think is really cool with him is his whole body pretty much accordions. Pretty much just like that. And opens up here. And then the legs are on this double hinge here, because the leg itself, see this part, the hips move and then the upper thigh moves. So basically what you're doing, I'm going to move the arms up and out of the way, is you're going to accordion the leg up and then slide the hip into the nose cone. And that's all going to come up. And then the body, as you can see here, the foot should meet right toward where the upper part of the torso is, and everything should fold in. Come to this side, and of course do the same thing. And then you got to kind of have to work around the wing a little bit to get it in there. And there you go. And then you get it all lined up like that. Then you bring up this back section, you close up the tail fin, bring it up over the head, and then the arms fold at that joint there, which would be the shoulder, and then kind of come up on top. And then you fold that up, and then of course the wings kind of flop around, but looks like that wing kind of snuck up there while I was transforming him and got stuck. So I got to pull the arm off here a little bit, pull that out, because you should have the cargo bay done first, and then the wings are going to just kind of fold up into it. And you can see here they've got a little divot there, and then they go up in there. You see it on this side here, you got a little divot up here, and then there's a little bitty, I guess, a peg that's going to go into that rectangle there, and then of course this slot here is going to rest against this piece. You kind of put that up into place. Oh, what's going on this side? Something's not lined up here. Oh my goodness. Alright, let's back up a little bit and check. Alright. There we go. There we go. I was like, that was kind of weird, because he normally holds together fairly well in shuttle mode, see? So, what I missed there is the arm. Oh, doesn't that creaking of 30-year-old plastic just kind of scare you sometimes? Is inside the arm here, there's a little, you can see it there, it's a little peg, and that should slide under this piece here. And then that makes sure that he stays together really well in his shuttle mode. And I did not have that lined up correctly. If you have that lined up, then he stays together really well, even by the tail section there. So as a shuttle orbiter, you can see he looks pretty good. He's got the windows, some nice paint. He's got the correct engines. And on the other side, not really a whole lot of robot kibble. I mean, I guess you could figure out those are probably parts of the leg, although those could pass as just parts of machinery or whatnot. I mean, I know the GoBots get a lot of grief, but really, you just stop and look at them as like a toy. And a lot of times, because they're so simple, there's very little kibble that gets in the way. And of course, he's got retractable rear landing gears that come down. He's got a nose gear, and he can roll really well. So that's pretty good. He even has that kind of, now if you remember the old space shuttles, how they always kind of seem to lay extra low on their nose because of how the nose bends there. He kind of achieves that as well. So give me a moment here. Let me get Astrotrain into shuttle mode and we'll do a little comparison. Alright, so now I got Astrotrain into his shuttle mode. And again, this isn't like, you know, GoBots versus Transformers. It's just, you know, this is the closest thing we have to another transforming space shuttle from the time. I thought it'd be a little fun to take a few minutes to kind of look at the two. Now, of course, you know, don't get me wrong, I am a huge Astrotrain fan. I probably have every toy he's ever been in, from G1 through Titan's Returns and all that stuff. So, trust me, I love Astrotrain. But, let's be honest, his G1 toy paid a big price to have that triple change gimmick. And, you know, you can kind of see it here. I mean, Spacey looks like a space shuttle. I mean, you could theoretically not even realize it's a robot because he does transform fairly well. Astrotrain, of course, you know, because he's got shoved that train mode in there, he pays for it. You know, he's got, you know, this obvious train stuff everywhere, and the wings have to fold up twice so they get creases and whatnot. But he's still an amazingly awesome toy, and I love him. And of course, it's a bit of a cheat too, because when Astrotrain was out, it was probably regular GoBots Spay-C, which is like this tall and stuff, and the Super GoBots came out later. So, you know, I mean, I totally understand. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to take a look at the two of them, because that GoBots versus Transformers, that's always, you know, what comes up. And of course, it always comes down to Transformers are better because they were more expensive and more complicated, and they've had the test of time, where the GoBots have had issues with that. But, you know, sometimes there's something to be said for the simpler aesthetic. I mean, in this case, it let the toy achieve a much better space shuttle mode, you know, more believable space shuttle mode, but I still thought it would be kind of fun to take a look at them. You know, Astrotrain's got, you know, the engines correct, and there's no mistake, and this is something that turns into something else, though, because I mean, you can't. The robot kibble in this case is fairly well hidden, but it's obvious it's going to turn into a train or something, I think. But I thought it'd be fun to do a little comparison there. All in all, though, I have to say I like Super Spacey or Super GoBots Spay-C. I think he achieves a pretty cool robot mode that at least gives me that aspect of a deep space astronaut kind of explorer, kind of like Cosmos, like I had said before, where he's got that, oh, I'm out by myself. I forgot to put up the landing gear. Out by myself, deep space, bitter cold, gotta, survive out there and do all this stuff. So I think he's really cool. I think if you aren't into GoBots as much because, their size and whatnot, I can totally understand. But personally, I would recommend some of the Super GoBots just because they seem to me at least to be a good mix of what the Transformers were going for with the bigger size and what the GoBots kind of had working with them, which was like a simple concept and just kind of worked with it, I mean, robot mode, he's pretty cool. Like I said, he's big and chunky. It makes me think of a giant mech in like an astronaut kind of suit. Of course, he's got this issue here where his hands are way inside here and he's got all this there, but there are Transformers that are guilty of the same thing, so I'm not going to hold it against Spacey for that. So, there's a quick little video look and review of Super GoBots Spay-C. I would recommend them. If you have a chance to pick up some of the Super GoBots, I would totally recommend it because they are fun. And they're a part of history, and technically now with Hasbro and everything, they're part of Transformers. Just some weird alternate dimension of Transformerdom. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.